How does one respond to the question of identity? I am a Christian. Deep in my identity, both growing up, but now as an adult, I understand that there is a God first, and that God actually cares about this third rock from the sun, and that God actually cares about us so much that He came and visited us personally, and that visit affects me and has redeemed me. And my grandparents were missionaries in Costa Rica. My parents were missionaries in Costa Rica. And so that identity as a Christian and understanding what God has done for me truly runs deep in me. I am a husband to the same wife for the last 20 odd years. I am a father to two boys. I am a pastor, and I carry that identity proudly. And right now I'm a district superintendent, which means that I seek to help 73 churches in Broward, Dade, and Monroe counties. I think that a lot of our churches have feeding programs. And probably what is the easiest for a church to do is to get food from the food bank and get it in bulk, get it from Publix, wherever, and assemble it all into bags and hand it out to folks who need it. And that's very important. Our community needs that and would love to have more churches that do that. But that's one particular way of ministering to people. I think that this church has taken that to a different level where, yes, you're not providing a week's worth of food, if that, but this is only one meal. But this church has decided to sit down and share that meal with people and to make a community out of that sharing of food. When you have a long line of 200 people who are just taking a bag, taking a bag and taking it home, you don't have the ability to sit down and visit with people. You don't have the opportunity to sit down and pray with people, to have Bible study, to do worship. I think the nature of this is very different and very unique. And there are other churches in our district who do the feeding program, but I would say this one does the best job at incorporating the spiritual life with the folks who are coming. I think it's very, very unique that way. And that the church now has said, and we're going to provide some resources for there to be a person who is on staff, who is coordinating referrals and other opportunities for people, and taking one step further in terms of helping others is pretty unique. I'm not ready to say it's the only one, but I'm not thinking of who else has that type person on the staff that is ministering specifically to folks that are hungry, and whatever that means. This is a mom and pop shop here, it's not a big organization. And the fact not only, you're talking about the volunteers serving and bringing the food out so that if you're hungry and you're sitting there, food comes to you, which I think is a great expression of grace, that God's grace comes to you. You can't do anything to earn it. It just comes to you. And I think these folks are living that out. But the fact that this is a very small organization, and it's been around. I mean, I'm talking to guys out there who've been here for 2.5 years coming in, and and using this as not just a meal, but a place to just hang out and to be able to talk to another human being and sit down and have some semblance of normalcy for a supper. So I think there are various levels at which Kathy and this church are to be commended for what they've been doing. And she came to a church whose future was very uncertain. And Kathy, in the midst of that uncertainty, felt God's prompting in her life to do something very, very different. And even in the uncertainty about the congregation here, decided to invest herself fully in the least, the lost, and the lonely. And she's been successful. And she leaves this place in a better place than it was. She leaves this place with a sense of purpose of where it might go in the future. And she's leaving this place with a needed ministry in the community. If she goes, her presence, the lack of her presence is going to be felt. But if her ministry here leaves, it's truly going to be felt in the community. And not every pastor can say that. And I'm proud of Kathy for that. Kathy brings all kinds of energy. She's intense. She's a hoot. We could talk about all that, but ultimately, we all want to finish well, regardless of what you're talking about. And as Kathy comes to the end of her active ministry, she's finished well. And proud of her for that.